Once I got the floorboard put in, I started making me a shifter console here. It's not all that great, but I basically got it to the right shape, good enough to make a pattern here, and I can cut it up and redo it again. But at least this will give me a fiberglass unit that I can work with. So I put a little tape on to make sure my fiberglass don't get down into my shifter, and I should be able to coat that with a real thin layer. I'll make it one sheet thick, and then I can get it out pretty easy and cut it up, and then I'll make a second sheet once I get it out. Well, there's my shifter console with one layer of thin fiberglass on it. I put quite a bit of hardener in it, so it kicked off pretty good. And it was a little bit of a trick over here, because I've got a piece of wood there in the front, and then I brought the thing down there in that hole, and then it goes up again on a 2-inch piece. But that's got one layer, and then I taped it here so I didn't get any fiberglass down into it, into my shifter. It's a little unique looking over here. Who knows, I may cut that out of there and do something else, but I've basically got a couple sheets of fiberglass around the front, on the sides, and at least one sheet there for to bolt it down. So that's going to be all right. Once I can get that out, I couldn't get any glass on the very back of it, and it's the back of the box is touching the seat here, so I need to skinny that down as much as I can right there where the seat hits it. I mean, it's not that big a deal. It just means the seat is not going to go forward. But this will work good. And tomorrow morning it'll be good and hard. I can trim it up, get it off of the shifter, finish up the back part there, and put another layer of fiberglass wherever I need to. We'll get that done, and then I got a little bit of floorboard here. That's all good over there. It's glued down up tight against the kick panel. I'll finalize my seat mounting. I'm pretty sure that's where they go. They have to be a little crooked to fit in the car, but once I do that, I'll probably plug some of these. I drilled several holes. I'll plug some of them holes. I'll just tape them on the bottom, fill them full of fiberglass, the ones that are not useful, and I'll get the rest of the insulation on the floor, and then I can get in there and put the seat down. I'm going to put a piece of wood here between the, you can see the floor, the frame rails are half an inch above that 1x2 steel piece in there, so this will help seal it up. But we'll move on with that. But for now, going to have a halfway decent shifter console. I'll clean it up, won't look too bad, and then when I carpet it, it'll look pretty good. My little box hardened up, and it's an ugly little rascal, but I cut it where I could get it off, and I put a, you can see that jog right there in the back. It was straight down. That was for just to move this forward a little to get the seat to clear. You got a few bubbles in here I'll force out. I used some cloth on this last part. You can see the difference between this fiber stuff down in here. I just threw a little piece on there to brace it, but the whole piece is fiberglass together. It looks bad out here, but it don't look bad when it's in the car. Of course, if it was taped or something without all that yellow tape on it, that'd help it. But this should give me a pretty good base. I pulled a lot of the cardboard out of the inside, and we'll let this dry. I'll pull some more out and see what we get. Well, I'm moving on with the seats here. This is I put one thin coat on it here and then wiped it off yesterday. It just did that strip, and most of it came off. It just left a little on it. This time I did the bottom of the seat. I just put one layer of the Fleming's dye on there and then wiped it off with a rag, and it's about half what I want. I'm going to go ahead and do this back part, and we'll take a look at it. Well, there's a first coat on the back. Take a look at it from the other side. I got to clean this thing up, but yeah, that don't look bad compared to the door panel. That's just the first coat. It's not really helping any of this cracks, but that's the way it goes. I'll probably use some leather conditioner on it when I'm done dyeing it. But the second coat should be quite a bit darker. You can see a little bit over there on that one stripe, but it was real thin, and I didn't get it in the cracks here very good. Looks like I better, got some runs right down there. I better try to clean up. It's probably not the best thing to try to do it in the car, but it looks pretty nice. I think probably one more coat I got 2 bottles. I've maybe used a third right now. So I think a bottle for each one will make them real dark. I'll probably get it real close to the red of the panel. Anyway, we'll press on. I've got it on my hands here. It doesn't want to come off with acetone, but it does with soap and water, so try to keep my hands a little cleaner. Still working on 29. I got a set of door removal tools, and they work out pretty handy. But anyway, I was gonna get this seat fixed, but you can see there this right side is a lot higher, you know, a couple inches. Well, I've got exactly 2.5 there. I've got a 2-inch piece and a 1/2-inch piece, and it's about 3 inches off of the bottom, and that's what I got here is about 3. These are about the same, you know, where the bolt hits. These are about 3 inches to the bottom of the bolt. So that make this seat pretty straight. So it's just a 2-inch piece I bolted onto the stud, and I drilled holes at each end of it so I could put another spacer on it. So that's what I'll do. I'll cut me another, well, this is already measured to fit the little 2-inch piece. I just have to bore some holes in it and find a nut here and bolt this up. Well, there's the brackets. I got a 2-inch piece, and then a little 1/2 inch. Or anyway, that's pretty close. And this is, I can put a bigger bolt in here. I have to put a space, some washers or something. I get it up that high. But this is good enough to mark the floor, which is what I got to do now. I get the spacer on this one and get it tightened up. I lost my spacer. I don't know, I had it just minutes ago, of course, you know. But anyway, no big deal. If I have to, I'll just cut me another piece and drill another hole in it. I got this all mounted up, and holes marked, bored out. I didn't hit no metal, so now I can pull that seat out again and clean that up real good, and I'll be able to glue the insulation down. And I was thinking, you know, I got a 1/2 inch in here, a little more, 3/4 of an inch, and I was thinking what I ought to do is take a solid piece that'll go all the way in against the frame, and it trim the edge here where it sticks out, and then I could make a little step with the carpet. Can't come very far. It's right here to the edge of the door. Maybe I'd be enough to just get it on this frame, hopefully. And I can screw it to the floor, and that'll block this whole place off here. And I can run the carpet over the edge, and it'll look just fine. My blue carpet came. I'm still working on this. What I got here, I cut a piece of plywood, and this is gonna go up in there. This one, I cut it where it would fit pretty good, but it just barely hanging in there. I got, you know, maybe 3/8 of an inch for that screw to go in. But the problem was it's only got 3.5 inches to slide past there, because the frame is right down there. So, and then when I moved it over the 3 inches to plug up the side, I hardly had any left. This one will be better. The board is going to go from flush right there in front to wherever the door hits it here. So I'm going to try to put it in there, put a screw in the front of it, and then I'll move this back. This outside edge is going to be right at the touching the upholstery here on the door. Hopefully we'll get that sorted out. And this one here is coming out at an angle, and then it was straight there, so that's actually all I'm trying to do is extend that piece. We'll see what happens. I have to do a little trimming on this piece of wood to get it in. Well, I got all of the floorboard done. I had to cut a few pieces on both sides. You can see it's screwed in over there. It's glued and it's drying. But I got my insulation in. It's all cut for the bolt holes. It all goes under my shifter there. So that all looks good. So now I'm going to try to lay this carpet out and see if I can't roll me out a piece and rough cut this front part. See how this goes. There it is laying in there. It's a 6x6 piece of carpet. And it's 6 feet to about where it's laying, right there below the curve. And I've got I don't know what 2.5 feet that's folded up here. So I'll have a 2.5 wide, 6 foot long strip. That's going to be plenty to do that firewall. 2.5 feet wide. I might do this trunk lid out of it too. Don't know, but I should have got it a little darker, I guess, but that looks plenty good enough. Since this is the widest part here at the back, and of course it goes into quite a bit there in front, I'll lay this out, leave myself a couple inches wide, actually a little more, because this carpet's got to go down over this this board here, and then I'm gonna pry up the whole thing, stick the carpet between the sill and the board, fold it under, and then bolt it down. So This carpet will be held really solid right along here. I probably don't even have to put any sill plates in it. We'll see. I think it anyway, I'm gonna have to leave myself about 3 inches on each side to cover it, and whatever's left is whatever's left, whether it's 2 foot or 2'6" don't make any difference. I'll find the center of it, cut me up a piece, but it's going to look real good. Yeah, it's going to look real good. I may use a sill plate there in the back, and maybe right along the back sideboard. But it's starting to look pretty good. I should have got it darker, I didn't. But I think I just picked the colors that they had that were close. Good enough. We'll get this cut up and put in and see what it looks like. There's our carpet in, pretty close. I took it in the house and cut it to the rough proportions. Looks like I got a little bit of something going on right here where it's not fitting the shifter right. I just tried to cut a small hole in as I could. But I got the edge fitting here. Got it fitting over there. This will come back and I'll cut it right there. This is going to leave me enough room to put that under the body. I'll need to do a little work on it, mostly where that hole is, where that shifter goes. But I'll have to get that sorted out up there in front. I may have to put a split in it, I'm not sure. But it's pretty much laid in there. And once I trim it up, I cut this this carpet here 3 inches wider than the door. So I probably got another 6 inches on here that I gotta cut off, or at least 3. So that'll lay flat. But the length is determined by where it hits the firewall up there. That's what I have to do first. Looks like I can pull it over this way a little bit. Anyway, we're getting closer. At least the carpet's in there and starting to lay down good. Press on. Well, I played around with this. I decided I could cut this carpet open here to get to the bolt that tightens down the floorboard. And this one here is under the seat, won't really see it. But I was able to get this turned down and pushed in here. And the carpet tightened up. And you can see it presses real nice against the door. And door closes good. lines up. May have to adjust that a little. But that's a pretty nice little edge there, and it's tied up against the tied up against the door, so I'm good here. And now I'll have to get the rest of this carpet all flattened out here. I got it good and flat right across here where my seat goes. It's real nice. Now I'll have to pull around on it, maybe put a couple staples in it, get it pulled tight up there in front. That should be good to go.